And the Chargers take the field at University of Phoenix Stadium here in Glendale. 65,000 is the capacity here. Late arriving crowd. Mike McCoy, 40 years old, the second youngest head coach in Charger history. Knows a little bit about playing quarterback. Played at Long Beach State and then transferred to Utah. And he told us what he expects out of his quarterback, Philip Rivers.
Number one is, we've talked about is just leading the team down the field, doing the next best thing. When it's not there, throw the ball away, check the ball down to the running backs, and just play smart. And that's the key thing is, he's got a tough job. He's got the toughest job on the football team. Obviously, he's got so many guys he's got to worry about. Everyone wants to talk about the turnovers from the past. Well, as an organization, we've talked about everyone doing their job better, not just Philip Rivers, but the entire team of playing better.
And I like that he mentioned everybody doing their job better, not just Philip Rivers. I think the offensive line certainly has a responsibility to protect that quarterback, open up the holes for the running game. The offensive line, a lot of weight on their shoulders going into this season.
Well, they've allowed 8 sacks so far in just 2 games, and that's way too many. Although Phillips took responsibility for the strip sack fumble last week against the Bears, said he set up too deeply, and at 11 yards should have been at about 9 or 8. So don't be too hard on Max Starks. He did his job, according to his quarterback. Head coach for the Cardinals is Bruce Arians. He took over as interim coach of the Colts last year when head coach Chuck Pagano left the team to undergo treatment for leukemia. Led the Colts to a 9-3 record in his 12 games, and he was named Coach of the Year and Assistant Coach of the Year. First man in NFL history to get both honors. So the Cardinals have won the opening kickoff. Nick Novak will tee it up for San Diego. Back deep for the Cardinals will be Javier Arenas, standing about 8 yards deep in his end zone. Special teams have been a real problem so far in the preseason for San Diego.
The amount that the special teams can contribute to your field position throughout the entire game is so important. And I know that Kevin Spencer, the special teams coach for the Chargers, he has been stressing this to his guys. It's a huge part of the game.
1/3 of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And Novak has us underway. And Arenas is going to bring it out. Cutting to the left side, hit once, and then crosses the 15-yard line, where the new quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals will make his start. Carson Palmer, 8 years with Cincinnati, the last 2 years in Oakland, and he's had his best games as an NFL pro against the Chargers. He threw for 440 yards back in 2006, and then 417 just a year ago as a member of the dreaded Raiders. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Palmer. Richard Mendenhall is the back. Palmer to throw on 1st down, and a one-handed grab by none other than Larry Fitzgerald. The 3rd overall pick back in 2004. 8 yards on the gain, but it wasn't the yardage, it was the catch.
And for those of you that are late getting to this game, Larry Fitzgerald makes you pay by this unbelievable highlight one-handed catch. Wow, Larry Fitzgerald just comes right out of the box with a great catch.
Cardinals get away with a offensive pass interference pick there that got Fitzgerald open, but what a grab. Here's Mendenhall. He's got the 1st down and more down the sideline. 40 will go out of bounds right near midfield. Eric Weddle will make the stop there. But a big gain for Richard Mendenhall. Mendenhall, who played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll pick up 25 yards on this game.
Has a chance, too. The defense has a chance to rally and make the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Mendenhall is able to bounce it out and take it down the field.
It'll be 1st and 10 near midfield for the Cardinals. Here's Mendenhall right up the middle, and he is going to get a couple. Take a look at the starters for the Cardinals. This offensive line has 4 new starters on the offensive line. Here are the backs and receivers. See Mendenhall. He played in Pittsburgh where he had his best days, 1,000-yard rushing seasons, when his head coach, Bruce Arians, was their offensive coordinator. Here's the offensive line. 4 wide receivers and a tight end for the Cardinals. That's Fitzgerald in motion. Shotgun for Palmer. And he's hit, and he's going to throw this ball away. And we're going to see this is going to be an incomplete pass. Great job by Palmer to get rid of it as Dwight Freeney was wrapped all over his back.
This is why you bring in future Hall of Famer Dwight Freeney for passing situations and let him get after the quarterback. Came close to a sack there and just barely missed it.
Jared Johnson also in on the pressure there. You see Palmer with enough strength to get rid of that ball. Incomplete pass. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 7. Ball right at the 50-yard line. Again, Fitzgerald will move. Palmer looking left, throwing deep. Good double coverage by San Diego there. Intended for Patrick Peterson. The defensive back playing offense, trying to use his speed, but the Chargers were ready for it. As Sharice Wright running stride for stride with them.
Nice job by Sharice Wright. He is, as you said, step for step, getting a little help over the top, and the ball harmlessly to the ground.
Brandon Taylor, actually that's Marcus Gilchrist. We did have a penalty flag. It was holding against the Cardinals. Obviously will be refused, and that'll bring up a 4th down. And this punt by Zastudil. Dave Zastudil standing at his 36-yard line. Keenan Allen standing at his 10 will return it for San Diego. Made blocked! Ball was blocked by Darryl Stuckey, and he got the recovery. So the special teams makes their mark in a big hurry tonight against the Cardinals. Stuckey came in free.
Kevin Spencer, the special teams coach, we talked about him in the open to this game, and he had a little surprise for the Arizona Cardinals. Great job getting up the field and getting the block on that punt.
So Phillip Rivers will bring the Chargers to the line of scrimmage with great field position. Ball placed at the 34-yard line. Ryan Matthews and LaRon McClain in the I formation behind Rivers. And here's Matthews right up the middle. He'll get a couple, and he'll struggle for even more. Across the 30-yard line, he'll pick up 4 yards. A lot of that just plain desire. Phillip Rivers, 10 of 15 on the preseason. No touchdowns, 1 interception. Well, he was sacked 3 times last week against the Bears. A 4-time Pro Bowler, 4-time Charger MVP in his 10th year. Matthews remains the tailback as shotgun now for Rivers after that 4-yard gain. Draw play. Matthews bounces it to the outside, and he'll pick up a couple. Along with Matthews and Rivers, you see McClain. Keenan Allen will get the start along with Vincent Brown and, of course, the future Hall of Famer Antonio Gates at tight end. Up front, King Dunlap, a lot of eyes on him, but DJ Fluker, I know you like the way he is run blocking, BR.
Oh, he's an absolute animal. That's what you expect when you get an All-American out of Alabama blocking for your running backs.
Danny Woodhead makes his preseason debut now in the backfield to the right of Rivers. 3rd and 4. False start. And you can see Woodhead's upset. He had a linebacker on him, and he was going to get a touchdown.
Wide open, running down the numbers.
5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
They called that on Phillip Rivers. Ken Wisenhunt, the offensive coordinator, former head coach of the Cardinals, 6 years he was the head coach here. I talked to him today about some of his favorite memories. Of course, he did lead the Cardinals to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of friends on the Cardinals staff and players, obviously. So 3rd down and 9 as the 5-yard penalty backs the Chargers up. Ronnie Brown now in the backfield to the left of Rivers. Blitz. And there's a pass, and that's incomplete. No flag as Shea Tutu was the intended receiver. He was knocked off his route by John Abraham. Rivers could not believe no flag was thrown.
How could that not draw a flag? I mean, I'm sure if you were down on the field, Dan, and you were in your uniform, I mean, this is clearly a case of pass interference.
Yeah.
I mean, he knocks him down.
That's unbelievable. So the veteran John Abraham gets away with one. 51-yard field goal try now for Nick Novak. It's on the way, and it is no good. Hooked it left. So the block punt by Darryl Stuckey results in no points for San Diego. 11:10 to go, first quarter in Arizona. Back in Glendale, Arizona, where the Chargers missed a golden opportunity after the block punt by Darryl Stuckey. Nick Novak missed a 51-yarder. Last year, he hit 18 of his 20 field goal attempts for 90%, but the two he missed from 54 and 55. It'll be 1st and 10 for Carson Palmer. Richard Mendenhall, the tailback. 3 wide receivers. Fitzgerald at the bottom of the screen. There's Mendenhall, and he'll get stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. In fact, I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage.
You're
Cam
right.
Thomas.
Cam Thomas doing a great job just getting up in the face and taking the charge out of that offensive lineman, resetting that offensive line, if you will. Take a look at it. He drops it about another yard deep in the backfield. It makes it a lot harder to run when you're that running back getting the ball and there's people at your feet.
He beat the #1 pick for the Cardinals, Jonathan Cooper, right off the snap of the ball. Loss of 2 on the play. And here's Mendenhall again, trying the right side. Donald Butler with his first tackle of the evening. And that's what he does a lot, doesn't he?
That's what he'll do for the rest of the evening, as a matter of fact. Great read, getting back up in there and, sorting through those big uglies to get to the guy that has the ball.
We're still wondering about Manti Te'o and when he'll get back in the lineup, still wearing the protective boot on his sprained foot. Ball at the 44-yard line for Palmer. Blitz on by San Diego, and Palmer will throw the ball in a hurry down the field. Incomplete. Derek Cox on the coverage, and the pressure by Dwight Freeney. Boy, don't you just love hearing that?
I do. I truly do. I mean, after years and years of hearing his name associated with someone else sacking your quarterback, all of a sudden he's sacking quarterbacks for you.
Charger defense now have held the Cardinals without a third down conversion in 2 tries. Here's a long punt here. Keenan Allen, who dropped one last week, makes a difficult catch on this one inside the 10-yard line. Charger ball when we come back. No score here. 9:41 to go, first quarter. Time now for tonight's Lightning Fast Facts, brought to you by Cox Communications. And Billy Ray, the Chargers played a home game here in Arizona at Sun Devil Stadium in 2003 due to those horrible wildfires.
I remember that.
Chargers played the Miami Dolphins and lost 26-10. A lot on their minds, I'm sure.
No doubt.
Chargers ran 3 plays that first drive. Were really hurt by the offsides penalty against Phillip Rivers. That potentially could have been a touchdown pass to Danny Woodhead. They'll start this drive backed up at their own 8-yard line. Ryan Matthews alongside Rivers. Blitz by the Cardinals. Draw play to Matthews. He bounces to the outside and picks up a good gain.
Boy, how do you like those fast feet? Ryan Matthews, nice job.
Jeremiah Bell had to make the tackle, but you're right, BR. This is a great job of vision.
Yeah, and the offensive line just imploding. That defensive line opened it up for him.
No huddle for the Chargers, right to the line of scrimmage. Rivers calling the play, now backs up into the shotgun. A lot of time on the play clock. Quick pass to Allen. Allen's got the first down and more out to the 25-yard line.
Great job by Phillip Rivers. I'm telling you, Phillip has been in this league long enough. He knows when the blitz is coming, and that time they were bringing 6 after the quarterback. Phillip just got him set up and got the ball out of his hands, came for the Chargers.
Now it's an empty backfield after that 9-yard gain by Allen. Matthews in the slot on the near side. You're going to see a lot of this from just about every team in the NFL this season. No huddle, up-tempo offense. Rivers to throw again. Steps up, fires over the middle. Got his man at the 40-yard line. That's Vincent Brown with the catch. Gerard Powers with the tackle.
Holding. Offense.
Flag.
Number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Take a look here. Number 77. This is what you cannot do when your quarterback is throwing a very nice spiral.
Yeah, that's a takedown.
Yeah, but it was more of a push takedown than it was a hold takedown.
Well, John Abraham only has 122 career sacks. King Dunlap got a lesson that time. Great quickness by Abraham. That'll back it up. First down and 20 for San Diego. There's Gates at the 20, and he'll dive across the 20-yard line. Short gain there. Jasper Brinkley with the stop. 6 yards for Gates from Rivers.
You can still apply the same word as you did when Antonio Gates was a rookie. It's just smooth. He catches the ball, comes out of the break, gets around the defender. Antonio Gates, just smooth.
I'm not sure one guy can cover him. He's got that great pivot move that he learned as a basketball player when he played at Kent State. 2nd and 14. Draw play to Matthews. Big hole. And again, jumping to the outside across the 30. Gets a block from Vincent Brown. And he's got a first down across the 39-yard line. 18 yards for Ryan Matthews as he continues to run impressively.
Take a look as the defense is bringing 6 rushers on the quarterback. You gotta be able to play the draw, and that was a very, very nice call. Boy, Ryan Matthews, very nice vision too, getting down the field.
Danny Woodhead is now the running back, and he'll get the handoff, and he'll make a nice little move right up the middle behind the block of Nick Hardwick. He'll pick up 3. Rashad Johnson with the stop. Tempo offense designed to keep the defense on the field, no substituting, and also to wear them down. 2nd and 7, Rivers in the gun. Matthews with 4 carries for 32 yards here in the first quarter. Rivers to throw, a lot of time. He's got Gates down the middle. He beat double coverage, but the throw was way off. Rivers again looking for holding or pass interference in the secondary.
Cardinals showing 5 in the box, 6 in the box, and then they drop out to where they only rush 3. That's why Phillip has a little extra time. But there was certain contact made with Antonio Gates.
Yeah, Jeremiah Bell grabbed him. That's what Rivers was complaining about. To no avail. 3rd down and 7 now for San Diego. Rivers 2 of 4 for 15 yards so far. We got a flag down as Woodhead makes the catch. He's got yardage for a first down as he goes out of bounds. We'll see what the flag is. It's going to be offsides against Arizona, so this 8-yard gain will stand, and it'll be a first down for San Diego.
How do you like what you're watching on offense, Dan?
Offside. Defense, number 53. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
What I don't like to see is this. That is King Dunlap. And he's having all kinds of trouble getting to his feet as the medical staff is taking a look at him.
Bottom of your screen, King Dunlap, and just taking care of the edge rusher.
I think he's going to be okay. It looked like he might have gotten a knee to the midsection. doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
But a good sign it's not a leg injury. Again, it was John Abraham, though, that just ran right around him. Abraham goes 6'4", 263. Dunlap outweighs him by 70 pounds. Mike Harris will take the spot for King Dunlap. Surprising that it's not Max Starks taking Dunlap's spot.
That's his listed backup. And by the way, whoever comes in has to spot John Abraham still. All 35 years old of them.
This drive started back at the 8-yard line for San Diego. This is the 8th play of the drive coming up. It's consumed almost 4 minutes off the clock. Matthews and McLean in the backfield for Rivers as he goes under center. In motion is Allen. Fake to Matthews. Good protection again for Rivers. He's throwing deep down the sidelines. Too far for Antonio Gates.
Just a little bit too much air under that football, or that was a catch for Antonio Gates and a heck of a throw for Phillip, but he just put a little too much air under it. You can see they're bringing the heat. 4 rushers, and Antonio has a chance to get open, and in fact does, but the ball is overthrown.
There's no way that Jeremiah Bell can stay with Antonio Gates. Taking a look at Dunlap's right ankle. James Collins, the outstanding trainer for San Diego. In motion is John Phillips. Fake to Matthews, blitz on. Rivers has to get rid of it to Gates. He's made the catch inside the 40-yard line. Great throw by Rivers under a lot of pressure.
Sam Acho coming hard with ill intentions, and Phillip was able to get the ball away, and a perfect throw and catch by Antonio Gates.
13 yards and another first down for San Diego as they keep this drive alive. Matthews up the middle. And he gets hit right away but refuses to go down, struggles for a couple. Give him 1 yard on the gain. Matthews having an outstanding preseason. Came into the game averaging over 5 yards a rush. Doing better than that this evening.
I love this tempo, Dan. I think it really fits this offense and the personnel in the field.
Matthews again right up the middle. He's got another good gain. It dives across the 30-yard line. And now we got flags as players are getting into it. Nick Hardwick, as you might expect, in the middle of things. Hard-nosed 10-year veteran out of Purdue. I'll make you a bet right now that it's offsetting penalties, personal foul.
It's got to be, because they're all saying, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Jerome Boger did.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 96, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Ronald Talley. Tally a free 15 for San Diego.
Here's a look at Talley. Oh, with the late hit. Yeah, I think so.
He took a shot at Jerome Clary and DJ Fluker. So it's 1st and 10 for San Diego. They mark it at the 14-yard line. 2 receivers to the left. And now Vincent Brown goes in motion. 12th play of this drive. Rivers steps up, throws. He's got Zero Tutu, and Zero Tutu takes it to the 1-yard line. I'm impressed with his pass protection. I know that they called Dunlap for 1 holding, but that's the only negative play on any of these pass plays.
He's clean right here, Dan. They do a great job running off the coverage and then bringing a Zero Tutu underneath. I mean, that's a thing of beauty if you're on offense.
McLean and Matthews as the Chargers have the ball at the 1-yard line. Here's Matthews. He dives. And second effort will give him a touchdown.
I love when Ryan Matthews decides to leave his feet at the goal line. That's fantastic. Gets a little altitude. He's like, Coach, you didn't tell me he was going to jump over me. Gets his feet again and then runs in the end zone.
"13 plays, 92 yards for the Chargers. A very impressive drive as Nick Novak will add the 7th point. Ryan Matthews, 7 rushes so far tonight, 41 yards, and that extra effort touchdown gives the Chargers the 7-0 lead. Back in Arizona where the Chargers, an impressive 92-yard drive, took them 13 plays, 6:51 off the clock, and it was an up-tempo, no-huddle offense that they ran primarily backed up at their own 8-yard line. That shows you that what they're working on in practice is working in games.
Absolutely right, Dan, and I think what you have to take out of that if you're on the Arizona Cardinals sideline is you could not stop the San Diego Chargers. You just couldn't. There was no answer for what they were doing to you on offense.
Perhaps the only negative, the concern for King Dunlap and his ankle that they were checking. Novak will kick it off to Javier Arenas, and he'll bring it out. And he's hit at the 14, bounces off a tackler, gets out across the 20-yard line. Chargers on top, 7-0. Cardinal ball when we come back. Cardinal ball, 2:44 to go, first quarter. We talked a little bit about King Dunlap, but he has been taped up, giving his teammates the knuckles over there. Looks like he's going to be back in the ball game, and that's really a good sign for San Diego. Great competition along that offensive line. 3 new starters and a new position for Jeremy Clary, moving from right tackle to right guard. So Palmer is joined in the backfield by Mendenhall. Mendenhall left side, big hole. Mendenhall breaking tackles out to the 35-yard line. He'll pick up 12 yards.
And the Charger defense did a good job responding to the play, but the gap opens up just off tackle, and that happens to be the one place where the Charger defender was run past that particular alley.
Looked like Bront Bird was blocked effectively on that play. Mendenhall now 40 yards on 5 carries, healthy 8-yard average. First and 10 for Palmer, and Mendenhall will get it again, bounces to the outside. Little stiff arm there on Gilchrist and out of bounds after another sizable gain, this time 7 yards.
And you're telling me that Jim Dre wasn't holding on that play?
I didn't say a word about Jim Dre.
Okay, no, well, you can see him right here, number 81. Dre grabs just a little bit too much of Jarrett Johnson's jersey. Jarrett Johnson's jersey.
That's alliteration. Very good, BR. Second and 3. Ball at the 42-yard line. Palmer fakes this time to Mendenhall. He wants a big one, settles for a short one over the middle. Fitzgerald's got it. We got a flag down in the backfield, so this one may be coming back.
Holding, offense number 75, 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Levi Brown wipes out a 15-yard pass completion from Palmer to Fitzgerald.
That is the big man, Levi Brown, 324 pounds. And you can just take a look. Yeah, Levi, yeah, it's tackle football, but you can't tackle the defender when he's rushing up the field.
And that defender, Larry English, with a good move to the inside with quickness on the much larger Levi Brown. 2 penalties against each team. San Diego's been penalized 15 yards. Arizona 25 as Palmer throws. And that ball incomplete. Thrown behind his receiver, Michael Floyd. Floyd, the number 1 pick last year for the Cardinals, caught 45 passes as a rookie. They're expecting big things out of him this season.
Braun Bird showing up again, making a nice play on that ball. Very busy early in the game.
Carson Palmer now 1 for 5 for just 8 yards, and the Cardinals 0 for 2 converting on 3rd down, which it is now 3rd and 13. Alfonso Smith is the running back. Palmer, deep drop, deep throw, and he's got his man at about midfield. Andre Roberts, the 4-year pro out of the Citadel, with a 22-yard reception, 1st down for Palmer and the Cardinals.
And it looked like Johnny Patrick had a chance to make a play on this football. Number 26, you see Patrick just dropping right into that zone. Wasn't able to square up and get his head back onto the quarterback to find the football in time.
Real veteran throw against that zone by Palmer. Smith remains the tailback. In motion is Hausler. And a quick throw to the other tight end is incomplete. Jim Dre, the intended receiver. Palmer let that ball go before Dre was ready.
There's Donald Butler making a play on the tight end from his inside linebacker position.
All Donald Butler has done in his career is make 196 tackles. He is a tackling machine.
He is.
Palmer under center on 2nd and 10. Here's Alfonso Smith. Another big hole up the middle, and he'll pick up 5 or 6 before he is stopped by Butler. Give him 6.
And they had Donald Butler basically standing up and walking into the gap, faking a blitz, and kind of caught him actually retreating out of there, which made gaining that yardage just a little bit easier.
This is the end of the 1st quarter.
And that brings us to the end of the 1st quarter here in the desert. Chargers, an impressive 92-yard drive. They lead it 7-0. Back for the start of the 2nd quarter. Arizona running back Rashard Mendenhall being tended to on the sidelines. He had battled knee problems last year as a Pittsburgh Steeler. In fact, when he was a Steeler, he had his best game of his career against the San Diego Chargers, when he gained 165 yards on the ground back in 2009. Third down coming up for Carson Palmer. 5 wide receivers for Palmer, spread out all over the field. He's going deep. And he throws it too deep. Receiver never saw the ball. Looked like Andre Roberts never picked up the ball as Marcus Gilchrist running right with him. He didn't see the ball either.
Well, let's hope he didn't see the ball. I mean, could you imagine? Carson Palmer would be kind of down his throat now about letting that ball go. He just stopped running.
But as a receiver, you should expect the ball
Right.
and want the ball.
I agree.
He must have lost it in the lights. Zastadil will punt for the Cardinals. He's the best in the history of the NFL at doing just this, pinning his opponent inside the 20-yard line. Keenan Allen with the secure catch at the 13-yard line, and that's where the Chargers will take over. Just underway here in the 2nd quarter with the Chargers on top, and a good sight for Charger fans and Phillip Rivers. Big number 77, King Dunlap, has shaken off that ankle injury. He's back in the huddle. Hard to miss him in that huddle. 6'9", 330.
Right. King's back.
Are you that big? You ought to be named King. Ryan Matthews, off to another solid start in the preseason, is the tailback behind Rivers. And he'll get it left side, running behind Dunlap. Now, that offensive tempo was awful good the last time the Chargers had the ball. Mike McCoy knows the importance of increasing that tempo.
I think I've learned a lot in the past couple of years about, playing as fast as you can, whether that's, huddling, not huddling, whatever it is, changing from week to week. But I want to get as many plays offensively on a week-to-week basis as we can, and whether it's running the ball, throwing the ball, a wide variety of personnel groups. I think with our personnel on offense, there's a lot of talented guys.
2nd and 8 for San Diego. Again, Matthews, and he'll hit the middle again and will squeeze through for a couple. It's amazing how many runs, and I know that Mike McCoy wants his runners to run downhill. What exactly does that mean, running downhill on a level playing field?
Right. You would hope that it's level. I got you on that. That time Ryan had to wait for Chad Reinhardt to finish his block to have that hole open up, and it just never came to be.
A lot of running between the tackles. One cut and go is what Mike McCoy is looking for. Chargers 1 out of 2 converting 3rd down so far. Ronnie Brown is the tailback. 3rd and 6. Rivers hit as he throws, incomplete. Great pressure right up the middle.
Oh, man.
Rivers was hit as he let that one go by Matt Shaughnessy, the former Raider.
That was a shallow drop. Phillip normally would have enough time to get it out of his hands, but man, that was just a little bit too quick. Right up the middle, it's the shortest line between that ball and that quarterback.
Cyphers to punt. This is Patrick Peterson, the dangerous one, signals for a fair catch, and he'll make it at the 35-yard line. 48-yard Cyphers punt, no return. Cardinal ball when we come back. Full desert sky at dusk. And a much cooler 75 degrees inside as it's still in the high 90s where all those cactus are. Carson Palmer off to a rough start here in this first half, just 2 out of 8 for 25 yards. You know, he's one of 8 Heisman Trophy winners that are still active in the NFL. And this season, he will be playing against 3 of the other 7. Cam Newton, Sam Bradford, and Robert Griffin. 1st and 10 for Palmer at the 34-yard line. And he swings it outside to Michael Floyd. And Floyd will get run out of bounds by Derek Cox after a 6-yard gain.
I think just trying to get Carson comfortable in the pocket, run the receiver across the formation, and just let him take the ball and complete it. Carson needs some good things to happen now.
An attractive home season for San Diego, and plenty of good seats still available. 5 yards on that gain for Floyd and Palmer. Patrick Peterson gets his handoff on the end around, and Peterson is hog-tied and thrown out of bounds. Larry English with the statement tackle on the sidelines.
Great job, outside linebacker Larry English doing a nice job chasing the play down as Peterson comes behind the center and Carson just hands him the ball. That was a great play on the defensive side.
And a legal tackle as he grabbed the shoulder and not the face mask to take Peterson to the ground. We'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. Chargers have been real solid on 3rd downs this evening against Palmer and the Cardinals. Looking left, throwing left, and it's incomplete. Larry Fitzgerald could not get away from Derek Cox. Cox with tight coverage there, knocked that one away.
And when you couple that kind of coverage with the pressure that was being put on Carson Palmer, made it impossible to complete the ball. Derek Cox, very nice job.
This is the 4th Zastadil punt here in the first half for Arizona. Keenan Allen is deep for San Diego. The left-footed punter will send it down to Allen, and he's got designs on a return. Gets a block out to the 15 down the sideline. Keenan Allen to midfield and more. Zastadil with a 43-yard punt. Keenan Allen with a 41-yard return. Justin Bethel with the tackle, or this might have gone to the house.
And it was nice that Keenan Allen got the opportunity to show off his wares, get the ball down the field, and do a little dance at the end of the play. I think the one thing about this game up to this point is the Chargers have been dominated in tempo on offense, defense, and now the kicking game.
Well, remember, the special teams blocked the very first punt of the game,
yes.
And now they come up with a huge return thanks to Keenan Allen. And he will stay in the game at wide receiver to the bottom of the screen. Ryan Matthews will move as Phillips moves back into the shotgun. Blitz right up the middle. Quick pass out to Allen, makes one miss. But the guy he made miss came back and made the tackle. Darnell Dockett with a nice play.
Phillip Rivers was able to read the blitz before the snap of the ball, turn, get rid of the football.
And right to the line of scrimmage, BR, up tempo.
Exactly.
Allen lost a yard on that reception thanks to Darnell Dockett. That ball knocked down and a flag, a late flag coming in. Intended receiver was Ajira Tutu. Gerard Powers went right through Ajira Tutu to knock that ball away, and he will get flagged for PI.
You take a look at the replay. I'm dying to see this.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Gerard Powers. And comes over the top. Yeah, made contact before the ball got there. That's exactly why they have the interference penalty.
1st and 10 now for San Diego. Matthews will hit the left side, makes a couple of tacklers miss, and dives across the 30-yard line. You talk about bad luck, suffering 2 broken collarbones last season. His first collarbone broken on the very first carry of the preseason. He picks up 5 that time. Blitz coming from Arizona. And they hit Rivers as he throws. Ball picked off. Picked off by Brinkley. Brinkley laterals it to Peterson. Peterson out of bounds. 23-yard return off of the deflection. They came with the blitz off the corner. Too many men for San Diego to pick up. Jasper Brinkley with the big play for Arizona, and Carson Palmer and the Cardinals will have great field position to start their next drive. Second interception of the preseason against Phillip Rivers because of the pressure from Tyrann Mathieu.
Honey Badger, and really Matt Shaughnessy does a nice job staying with it and continuing his force upfield. Gets a hand on Phillip Rivers' hand as the ball is being thrown.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Eric Winston starting too soon. This is almost like an LSU alumni game with all these defensive backs from the Bayou. Matthew, Brandon Taylor, Brandon's brother, Curtis Taylor, and of course Patrick Peterson, all members of that LSU backfield. Here's Palmer on 1st and 15, and he's got a wide open Fitzgerald. Gerald inside the 45-yard line. He is just so much fun to watch. So secure, great hands, and a big target.
And you have to just wonder, with all those things being the way they are, how is he running free through your secondary? Larry Fitzgerald, guys, number 11, man, make sure you have at least one guy on him, if not 2 or 3.
He's only caught 764 passes in his 10-year career. Here's Alphonso Smith. He's got a nice hole on the left side, knocking the helmet off the tackler. Coming in to make that stop for San Diego, Sharice Wright. Not a good sign when the first contact is by a defensive back, let alone a corner.
Right, and that corner's helmet pops off as soon as that contact occurs.
That's almost that new rule where you can't lower your head. He did not make helmet-to-helmet contact, though.
Right.
He made contact on the shoulder of Sharice Wright, so no penalty against Alfonso Smith. 1st and 10 now. Quick pass outside to Fitzgerald. One-on-one, but Gilchrist comes over, gives Cox some help, but not after. The All-Pro, number 11 for Arizona, picks up 7 yards.
It's kind of a page out of one of your playbooks, Dan. I mean, you get that single coverage standing in front of one of your wide receivers.
You know, and sometimes there's nobody covering guys out there. You have so many different formations and personnel groupings, defensive guys that aren't too smart that sometimes they make mistakes like that. Fitzgerald now 3 catches for 24 yards. Don't hit me. Don't hit me.
That's not a foul.
This is Alfonso Smith. Well, he will have enough for a 1st down. He picks up 4. Larry Fitzgerald in this 1st half. 3 catches for 24 yards. I expect him to have a huge year working with Carson Palmer. Frustrated last year, the revolving door of quarterbacks here for the Cardinals.
I expect that Larry Fitzgerald is going to have a great year, and I think some of the backs coming out of the backfield that Carson is going to throw to will take advantage of defenses looking too much at Fitzgerald.
1st and 10. Fake to Smith. A lot of time for Palmer throwing left side. That ball thrown out of bounds. Jim Dre, the intended receiver. Sharice Wright. In fact, they got their feet tangled up there a little bit. No call. Incomplete pass.
Here he is coming off the line. And I don't know that there was any contact at all.
Just a big old tight end stumbling and bumbling down the field, huh? 6'5", 255-pounder from Stanford. Jim Dre looking for that catch. 2nd and 10. On the 24-yard line. Palmer dumps it off to one of those backs you talked about, BR. Catch is made by Alfonso Smith. Veteran move by Palmer. Marcus Gilchrist on the stop.
Well, you could tell he looked over to his left, Dan, and then it wasn't there, whatever he was looking for, and had to come back and find Smith. And that's a mark of a great, good NFL quarterback.
Check out Patrick Peterson. He's in the lineup now as the Cardinals struggling on 3rd downs in this 1st half, just 1 of 5. Peterson is way to the right side. Palmer looking in that direction. He's at the top of the screen now in motion. Fake to Peterson. Palmer gets rid of it quickly to Smith. He breaks the tackle and he'll pick up the 1st down. Broke the tackle of Jalil Adai. And Adai had him short of the 1st down, but Smith picks up 7 and a huge 3rd down conversion for Arizona.
I mean, Dan, you're so right. Adai had this absolutely figured out and just misses the tackle. He wasn't able to get more in front of the ball carrier, the wide receiver, but Adai needs to make that tackle.
Head was on the wrong side of the running back.
There it is.
Adai just not enough power to bring down Smith. Stephon Taylor now in the backfield for the Cardinals, and we've got a penalty flag.
False start. Offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Corey Sperry, the former Charger, jumping offside.
And he's saying, no, I didn't. He's shaking his head, no. Corey, that doesn't work. Don't even try it.
That's the 5th Arizona penalty here in the 1st half. They've been penalized 46 yards. Nearly half a football field. 1st and goal now as they back him up to the 14-yard line. 8th play of the drive. Palmer with time to throw over the middle. He's got Fitzgerald. And Fitzgerald isn't going anywhere after the catch. Real solid tackle there. William Middleton with that stop.
Here's Mr. Fitzgerald again. Kind of stops his route, starts it up again, and the ball is there. That's what you do with Hall of Fame receivers. You keep on throwing them the ball.
Middleton stops Fitzgerald after just a 4-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd now in goal. Ball right at the 10-yard line. Palmer again time to throw, and again it's a short crossing route, and Bront Bird makes sure that this receiver doesn't go anywhere. Just a 2-yard gain for the Cardinal. Stephon Taylor. Taylor, the rookie 5th-round pick out of Stanford. You know that in 1,000 touches of the ball at Stanford, he fumbled only 7 times? That's what you want in a running back.
Very dependable.
3rd and goal now. First trip into the red zone for the Cardinals and Carson Palmer. Taylor, the tailback. Palmer, Freeney can't get to him. He throws to the end zone, and it's dropped. A surefire touchdown drop by Rob Hausler. He got inside Marcus Gilchrist. The ball was there, and all he can do is shake his head.
Just shows you a little bit about what pressure can do to a quarterback, to a play in any given moment. And Dwight Freeney gets close to the quarterback, and who knows, that kind of reaction from Carson Palmer.
Hausler had the most catches last year. This field goal is blocked. Dan Carpenter, the new kicker for the Cardinal, had this chip shot field goal blocked by San Diego. Second time the special teams have risen up and stuffed a Cardinal kick. 4:20 to go in the first half. Special teams have been a little rough in the first 2 preseason games. Not so this evening.
This is what you have to have. You have to have penetration from your field goal block unit. Try to drive that offensive line back, and then all of a sudden, get as high as you can. Raise those hands and block that football. That was a textbook version of what we're talking about.
Kwame Geathers, 6'6", got his big right hand up there to block that kind of low kick from Dan Carpenter. 1st and 10 at the 20. This is Ryan Matthews. Matthews, who has now 10 carries for about 47 yards in that one score. Our only score of the ball game. That last drive for Arizona, they went 11 plays, 51 yards. They took 6 minutes and 2 seconds off the clock, but got nothing thanks to Geathers. 2nd and 8 for San Diego. Rivers throwing deep down the sidelines, way overthrown, and they will get the Cardinals for pass interference this time. Ojira Tutu, the intended receiver. Gerard Powers may get the call on this one.
It's too bad. I think that the interference takes place because the defensive back believes that the ball is coming and it's going to be close. It wasn't going to be close.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. Contact with the receiver while the pass was in the air. Spot the foul. Automatic first down.
That's Jerome Boger. Now he'll work the first half of tonight's game as our referee, and then Ron Torbert will work the second half as the NFL officials get ready for the regular season, as well as the players. 1st and 10 for Rivers. Here's Matthews on the draw, looking to bounce it to the outside. He breaks the tackle of Gerard Powers and falls forward for 4. Right about his average so far this evening. Consistent gains for Ryan Matthews and this offensive line. A lot of different combinations being used by the Chargers up front. Again, no huddle for San Diego. Ojira Tutu in motion. Here's Matthews. And Matthews has another sizable gain between the tackles, and he'll pick up a first down.
Very nice run by Ryan Matthews. And Dan, tell me if you feel like I do. I love the way that this offense, it's dominating the tempo. It's dominating how this game is being played, play by play.
And this is a solid defense. In the first 2 preseason games, the Cardinals have only allowed 7 points. They shut out the Packers 17-0, and then beat the Dallas Cowboys 12-7 last time out. Here's Ronnie Brown with the carry across the 50-yard line into Cardinal territory. 4 yards for Ronnie Brown. And talking to Ken Wisenhunt, he says they're going to use all the running backs tonight. We'll see Edwin Baker. We'll see Fozzie Whitaker. We've already seen Woodhead and Matthews, obviously. Here's Matthews throwing a little bit too low for Giratutu.
A little bit too low, a little bit too hard, maybe. I don't know. He seems to kind of whip that one in there.
And how valuable is the Giratutu coming back to the Chargers and playing substantial minutes here in the first half?
Oh, you're so right. You are so right. They've been searching for the answer at wide receiver for quite some time, and he kind of steps in and fills a definite need.
1 of 3 on third down conversions for San Diego so far. Ronnie Brown in the backfield, 3rd and 6. 4-man rush. Rivers steps up, and he's got Gates. Gates at the 40, first down. Gates on a linebacker that time. Jeremiah Bell with the tackle, but Gates and Rivers convert on third down, and the drive will continue as we've reached the 2-minute warning. Back in Arizona, where the Chargers lead at 7-0 with 2 minutes to go. At the end of that play, Shea Giratutu was injured, laid on the field for quite a while. The medical team led by James Collins came out. Collins talking to Giratutu on the sidelines. It's almost as if the position of wide receiver is cursed so far this season.
Well, luckily, Giratutu was able to get up, walk off on his own power, and seems to be kind of shaking it off at this point. But you're right, boy, it does seem like it's been a bad year for wide receivers in the San Diego Charger uniform.
Well, after the blocked field goal by Geathers, the Chargers have driven 6 plays, taken 2 minutes and 20 seconds off the clock, 43 yards so far, and they're in good position here to the end of the first half. Chargers with all 3 timeouts. And Rivers with 3 wide receivers. Dan DePalma is the receiver in the slot now for Giratutu. Danny Woodhead in the backfield with Rivers. He swings out, and he's going to get this pass and makes a nice catch before Jeremiah Bell rolls him out of bounds. Short gain on the play, but pretty good catch by Danny Woodhead.
And loving watching Danny Woodhead on the field. See him just run out into the flat. The defender is there to take him out of bounds, but this is the kind of guy that you have to have in a third down offense when you need that first down, when you need that critical yardage.
2nd and 8. Clock stopped as Woodhead went out of bounds. Good protection again, and sidearm out there to Woodhead on the screen pass, incomplete. I think that pass surprised Woodhead just a touch as it came from the hip from Rivers.
So Danny will say, Philip, I prefer just a normal overhand toss instead of swinging it from your hip.
Woodhead is used to the up-tempo offense. Very effective with the New England Patriots last year. Ronnie Brown will take his place. 3rd down for San Diego. They need to get into at least field goal range. John Phillips now in the backfield. Will pass protect. Rivers will throw, and he's got Vincent Brown, and Brown has a first down. Great throw off his back foot under heavy pressure by Phillip Rivers.
You're so right, Dan. They were bringing the pressure off the left side from the defensive left, and Phillip Rivers knows he doesn't have much time to get rid of that football. But boy, he put it right on the money. That was a fantastic throw and catch.
And you can see Rivers' reaction on that key 3rd down. Again, the clock stops as Brown goes out of bounds. 10th play of the drive. Ronnie Brown.
Ouch.
And Brown will take it to the left side. Jasper Brinkley will make the stop there. Did you know that Jasper Brinkley has a twin brother?
What is Jasper's twin's name?
Casper.
I did not know that. I really didn't. I can tell you that he hits pretty hard, though, judging from that crack that I heard.
Yeah, they were teammates at South Carolina. 2nd and 6. Rivers under pressure again, and he slings this one to Brown at about the 19-yard line. And San Diego will stop the clock with their first timeout of the first half.
San Diego, their first.
So when we come back, it'll be 3rd down and 3 for San Diego, looking to add to their 7-0 lead. 109 to go in the half. Chargers with 2 timeouts. They face a 3rd down and a long 2, almost 3 yards. Cardinals drop back, rush 4. Rivers, he's going to run, and Rivers dives forward and he'll pick up the first down. That's twice this year now that Phillip Rivers has gone head first to pick up valuable yardage. Jasper Brinkley with the stop there, but it's a key first down for San Diego. Place the ball at the 14. Rivers with time to the end zone, incomplete, almost intercepted, and a late flag. Gerard Powers will get called one more time for pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. The contact occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
Just a little early to Vincent Brown. And the contact is, I think, yeah, I think they got you on that one, partner.
So they'll place the ball at the 1-yard line. Last time the Chargers at the 1-yard line, Ryan Matthews showed great desire and second effort. Was stopped initially, but struggled and finally made it into the end zone. We got a key block by Antonio Gates on that touchdown. This time he will line up.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 49. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So they'll move it just a little bit closer thanks to Rashad Johnson.
Thanks, Rashad. It was a yard now. It's half a yard.
13th play of this drive. It started back at the 20-yard line. McLean and Matthews. Play action, and Rivers under pressure throws it away. Almost got the ball out to Ryan Matthews, but the pressure by Frosty Rucker, the 8-year veteran out of USC, caused this incompletion.
And just imagine Phillip, the absolute horror to know that Frosty Rucker is chasing you out into the flat. That would be too much for me.
Frosty Rucker got away with a right cross to the face mask of Phillip Rivers. Again, it's McLean and Matthews. And it's Matthews, and he gets stopped, fumbles. Ball picked up by Rashad Johnson, fumbled back.
Touchdown.
And this will be a San Diego touchdown for John Phillips. You figure that one out.
Oh, my goodness. The play of the night.
Yeah, it is the preseason, and you expect the unexpected, but this is unbelievable.
It is a little counter dive. Ryan Matthews loses the ball before he ever gets to the line of scrimmage. And then Antonio Gates, I don't know, tries to lift him by his knee and throw him down, but
first of all, what are you doing lateral on the ball? And then you lateral the ball
I don't know.
to a defensive lineman. Linebacker Sam Acho. Acho couldn't make the catch. Phillips was there for the touchdown.
Oh, what a classic.
Novak will have the 14th point. And that type of play gives our stats guru Glenn Capilotto a headache trying to figure out that one.
Yep. That ball was out of his hands before his feet left the ground on jumping.
Well, the play was made by Dansby originally, but the decision by Johnson, 2 bad plays as Phillips will take this one into the end zone. First, he got the penalty on the pass interference for unsportsmanlike conduct.
I can tell you this. That new offensive coordinator, Ken Wisenhunt, is a genius. How do you draw that rascal up?
I would not want to be Rashad Johnson going over and facing head coach Bruce Arians because Arians is a no-nonsense former quarterback that is going to give him. He may just have a visit to the waiver wire after a play like that.
He might just hand him a boarding pass.
Javier Arenas, late of the Kansas City Chiefs, is about 6 yards deep in the Cardinal end zone. Novak will try to kick the ball away from him. And the ball went into the end zone, then came back out and will go out of bounds. It'll be a touchback.
Don't know that I've ever seen that.
And out to the 20-yard line.
Right.
No, you can read his lips. He says, "That was stupid, coach." And I'm sure the coach is agreeing with him.
That is a long walk, too. And you know that coach is going to be waiting for you.
You're the only person in the entire stadium.
Right. And nobody's going to help you.
So the Cardinals, with just 25 seconds, they do have 3 timeouts, but they got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Palmer is drilled by Freeney, and down he goes. Nine-yard loss for Palmer, thanks to Dwight Freeney.
And Dwight Freeney absolutely screams up the field. And, I mean, I've seen that. I would be looking for that move, the inside spin move, and it's another quarterback sack.
Well, he knows when to use it as he got inside of Levi Brown. And the Cardinals will say, that's enough. After those 2 last plays, Chargers celebrating as they go to the locker room. For those of you watching in San Diego, a CBS News update is next. For those of you on the Chargers network, an injury report on the Chargers receiver, Vincent Brown. Ready for the start of the third quarter as night has fallen here in the desert. Chargers on top, 14-0. And they will receive the opening kickoff. The roof is closed tonight, and that's good because it's August in the desert where the temperatures high 90s, low triple digits at 75 degrees here. The Cardinals use this stadium as their training camp. They stay at a hotel at the other side of the parking lot, and they do all their practices for the first time ever here in this stadium. They do not go to the University of Northern Arizona up in Flagstaff.
Well, all of a sudden, a 320-pound offensive tackle would weigh in at 240. Where's all your weight?
The training camp's over. They got to go to their facility now over in Mesa, Arizona, where they'll be practicing in the heat. I bet there was a little heat in the locker room from Bruce Arians after
no doubt
the first half he watched. Richard Goodman is deep for San Diego. And there's Freeney with the kickoff. And here comes Goodman. A little hesitation there as he crosses the 15-yard line. Charlie Whitehurst will be the new quarterback for the Chargers. Phillip Rivers will finish his night, completing 10 out of 18 for just 71 yards. Did have one interception when his arm was hit as he was releasing the ball. But Whitehurst, who had a good game last week against the Chicago Bears, where he completed 9 of 13. Completed 16 so far in the preseason with 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Fozzie Whitaker, the new tailback for Whitehurst. And Whitaker will get the carry, and he'll get about 3. Tackled by the middle of that Cardinal defense.
Right, as it was the middle of the Chargers offensive line that pushed them back about 1.5 yards and allowed Fozzie Whitaker to make that yardage.
Whitehurst now in his 8th year, his 6th with San Diego, spent 2 years in the Pacific Northwest with Seattle. Valuable veteran backup for San Diego. There's Whitaker on the draw play, another big hole right up the middle. And he breaks tackles as he crosses the 30-yard line. 14 yards that time for Fozzie Whitaker. That's his long run of the preseason. He's been the workhorse for San Diego.
And the offense had that Cardinal defense kind of set up. They set as if they were setting the path off. And as they came up the field, they did a very nice job making the hole absolutely stand out to the running back.
It was nice of Philip and Antonio to join us for the second half. No helmets, so you know they're not playing anymore. Here's Whitaker trying to run right side. He cuts it back and makes a good gain out of what looked like it might have been a disaster as he was strung to the sideline. Frosty Rucker with another play after a 2-yard gain for Whitaker.
Fozzie still gives this offense a little bit of danger. You know, that smaller back that can cut so fast, change direction so quickly. I think he has a definite role.
He picked up 2. Darius Green in motion. Whitehurst. And he'll throw low to Green on the outside. Green was open, but there was a lot of pressure right in the face of Whitehurst. That caused that pass to be incomplete.
Looked like Ronald Talley, number 96, got up the field and got to Charlie.
Good legal hit by Talley. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 8 for San Diego. In that first half, Chargers were great, converting first downs on 3rd downs. Here's the touchdown maker, Phillips in motion. Now he'll settle down and release as Whitehurst finds Whitaker, and Whitaker's got the reception, and he's got a first down out to the 47-yard line.
And I'll tell you, if I was still playing, I would lobby for this kind of play to be outlawed in the National Football League because linebackers can't cover small running backs like that.
You know, it's amazing. That's Jasper Brinkley, and he's wearing your old number. Number 54 with the late tackle.
And that's exactly the way that I would look in that same situation. Oh, man.
13-yard gain for the combination of Whitehurst and Whitaker. Pressure. Whitehurst, he gets sacked and does a good job of hanging onto the ball.
Is that Acho again? No, Sam. Yep. Just looked like a blown protection to me. I think you got DJ Fluker there as the right tackle, but there has to be somebody to pick up that defensive end coming off the corner.
Second sack of the evening for the Cardinals. They came in with 5 sacks on the preseason. 5-yard loss for Whitehurst. He'll throw on 2nd and 15. He fires a strike to the outside receiver. That ball is caught by Mike Willie. Rod Powers with the tackle after the 8-yard gain. And how about that comeback after that big hit by Bostic in Chicago that Willie absorbed?
Oh, that was the talk of the league for days and days.
Yeah, but Willie came back and made a couple touchdown catches.
Yes, he did.
Showed his toughness.
Indeed.
Picked up 7. Ball near midfield at the 49-yard line of San Diego. Play clock running down. To the outside and intended for Meacham. Looked like Meacham was being held by Gerard Powers, but the ball thrown so far to the outside, no chance for a reception or interception. So Cypress will punt the ball away back to the Cardinals, and Patrick Peterson standing inside his 10-yard line. The dangerous Pro Bowler in just his 3rd year. And that is why. Patrick Peterson made the Pro Bowl his rookie year as a punt returner, and last year as a cornerback. Gives the Cardinals decent field position. Our next telecast of Chargers football is this coming Thursday, August 29th when the Bolts return to the queue to take on the San Francisco 49ers. We'll have all the action starting with a kickoff just after 7 o'clock. Chargers and Niners, August 29th, right here on CBS 8 and the Chargers Television Network. Carson Palmer remains the quarterback for Arizona. And he'll give the ball up the middle. And that is Alphonso Smith with a big gain. Smith, who gained just 18 yards in the first half, picks up 16 with that carry, a die with the stop.
And Frank Beltre just came up the field and ran right past the running back. Beltre just opened that door for that big gain.
Smith remains the tailback behind Palmer. Palmer straight back to throw. Over the middle, almost intercepted. Diving attempt there at the interception. Heck of a play. Looked like Andrew Gachkar laid out and could not haul this one in.
Very athletic Andrew Gachkar. Show me. From the Show Me State. Very nice. And that's parallel with the ground, guys.
Show me some hands.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm a linebacker.
That was a great effort, though. Almost an interception. 5 wide receivers now for Palmer on 2nd and 10. And he throws and he finds his tight end Dre over the middle. And Gachkar will make the tackle. 8 yards on the pickup, and Dre a little slow getting up.
Nice job by Gachkar again in coverage with the crossing tight end. And you're right, he's limping over to the sideline now.
Cardinals just 2 of 7 in the first half on 3rd downs. Good defense by San Diego in that first half. This will be a very short 3rd and 2 situation. And hand off to Alphonso Smith. He's got the first down across the 40-yard line. You can almost imagine what was talked about in the locker room of the Cardinals at halftime, as this looks like a different team, and now they have an injury to deal with. Looked like Jonathan Cooper, their number 1 pick out of North Carolina. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals when we come back, trailing 14-0. .9:13 to go, 3rd quarter. It was Jonathan Cooper who was being helped off the field.
Well, and they were so high on him, one of their best offensive linemen.
And for a rookie, he was the number 1 pick.
Right.
But they have 4 new starters on this offensive line, both guards, both tackles. Lyle Sendline, the only holdover from last year. 1st and 10 for Palmer. Alphonso Smith remains the tailback. Richard Mendenhall was injured in the first half. Palmer down the middle. And he's got a tight end, and the ball is incomplete after the big hit. Corey Sperry, who's had a rough evening, the intended receiver, could not make this catch. Good throw by Palmer.
Yeah, it was a great throw by Palmer, and really a ball that should have been caught. Corey Sperry, I realize that he's getting hit by safeties and cornerbacks, but my goodness, that's your job, man. Hold on to the ball.
And we got a false start against the Cardinals.
False start. Offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's Ron Torbert, who's taking over the second half work for Jerome Boger. NFL getting as many officials practice in the preseason as they can. Torbert, a new referee in the NFL.
Get him acclimated.
He's a former side judge, as you can see the SJ on his back. And back go the Cardinals, 5 yards, 2nd and 15. Palmer down the middle. He's got a man, and the ball is hit. Now they're going to call it incomplete. Big hit by Brandon Taylor caused that incompletion. Ball was caught by Andre Roberts, and he comes up limping after that big hit.
Great play.
Well, that's what the Chargers have been waiting to see from Brandon Taylor, their 3rd-round pick last year out of LSU.
No doubt. recovering from a knee injury earlier in his career, but makes the play there from his safety position, comes up, bam.
Well, that's a catch. That's a catch and run. He took 2 steps after he caught the ball. And now the Chargers have thrown the challenge flag after seeing the replay. So you know what that means, BR? It's time for you to make the call, presented by AT&T. I say it's a fumble after the catch.
So like I can't agree with you? I have to be the opposite. I have to be the guy that's wrong.
Well, it was a rhetorical you.
Oh, sorry.
San Diego is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass, challenging that it was a catch, a fumble, and a clear recovery.
Catch.
Yeah, 2 steps. Their ball
Fumble.
comes out before he hits the ground.
And recovery.
We'll be back with a decision right after this. Now let's take a look at this reason for the delay here, the review. Watch the hit by Taylor right there.
And Andre Roberts just lets the ball go. But he had already taken 3-4 steps with it. So that's a loose ball. That's a fumble, yeah?
Well, Adai is the first guy to get there after the ball is on the ground. That is definitely a fumble. So Ron Torbert, our official, still under the hood checking it out. Yeah, I think it's time to congratulate some youngsters from Chula Vista.
How about those East Lake Little Leaguers?
They beat Connecticut today 12-1 to advance to the Little League World Series game to face Japan.
That's right.
And Japan won a real tough game against our boys from Tijuana.
3-2. I mean, you never see that in Little League, right?
No, Japan is awful good, but you got to give it to our friends from Mexico for a great game, a great series. And wouldn't it have been great, speaking of great, to have our boys from Chula Vista, who know so many of the kids from Tijuana, play with them playing tomorrow. But that won't be the case. It'll be a great game, though, between Chula Vista and Japan. I can't wait for that one.
East Lake versus Japan, the World Series title on Sunday.
And 2 countries and 2 areas that are used to winning Little League World Series.
That's right.
You know, when it's a delay this long, BR, normally it's because they're now looking to see where to spot the ball, how much time is left on the clock. But this ball, although it's placed right now at the San Diego 41-yard line, I got to believe this is going to be a fumble and it's going to be San Diego ball.
The only way that it's not, Dan, is if when he gets possession of the ball again and his knees are touching the ground, that they said that's a dead ball right there.
Yeah, that's the case. You know, that's a good argument because they both were there at the same time.
Right. And they looked as confused as we do.
And Ron Torbert's wishing that Jerome Boger was still our referee.
That's right. Can we get him down here?
Where's Jerome? I got it. First challenge of the night, and I got to handle it.
A little help down here, buddy. Nope, I'm going back under the hood.
This will be the second Arizona turnover if it stands, but you brought up a good point, though. It could be simultaneous possession,
right?
And if that's the case, there's Jerome hiding, still wearing the white hat, though.
He doesn't want any part of that.
But if it is a simultaneous possession, it will be Arizona ball. So this is a good call here for Ron Torbert to figure out.
After review, there was a catch by the Arizona receiver, followed by a fumble and a clear recovery by Arizona at the 16-yard line. The ball will be first down and 10 for Arizona at the 16 on the right hash. The clock will start on the ready for play. San Diego is not charged with a timeout.
If that was a clear recovery, why did it take almost 3 minutes to determine the clear recovery?
Just think if it wasn't a clear recovery.
I think it's a good call, though, because of the simultaneous possession always goes to the offense.
That's right.
San Diego will lose a timeout there because their challenge was not upheld. And the Cardinals will get the ball at the 16-yard line, a 25-yard gain. We've seen some crazy bounces of the ball. This one goes Arizona's way. See the eyes of Larry Fitzgerald in the huddle, hoping for his number to be called. Alfonso Smith is the tailback behind Carson Palmer. Floyd in motion. Palmer stumbles coming back, fakes to Smith to the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. Michael Floyd back at the end zone. Did he get both feet in?
Are we going to have to replay another one?
I think it's worth a look.
I think they'll do it.
Took the official a long time to see if Floyd had possession.
I don't know that he got his right foot in. The left one certainly is.
He did.
Drug it on the line.
Awesome job.
Yeah.
Second-year player out of Notre Dame. That's why he was the first pick in the draft last year for Arizona. What a fabulous catch.
Boy, that was a great catch. Oof.
All scoring plays are reviewed. And the crowd will tell you, after they reviewed it, that it's a touchdown. Yeah, the replay booth is right next door, BR. Can you take a look in there and see what you see?
I can tell you this, Dan, that they have it post-play, and these guys only had to see it one time, and they knew exactly the right call.
Touchdown. Jay Feely with the extra point try. And Feely's got it. So the Cardinals are on the board thanks to a sensational catch by Michael Floyd. 16-yard touchdown pass. Left foot, right foot, toe tap, good.
Left foot solid and drags the right. Nothing you can do about that. That is just technique.
And a great job by our crew, led by Jason Bott, our producer, Tom Satursky, our director. We're getting help upstairs, too. Kurt Gritz, our spotter, Glenn Capilotto, our stats man, and Leah Williams, our stage manager. Thank you, boys and girls. That was a 70-yard drive in 8 plays. Took the Cardinals 223, and it's exactly what Bruce Arians was looking for after a dismal first half for his team.
Apparently, Coach McCoy would like a little more of their time just to discuss it. All right.
Yeah, and what you're really arguing for is the next call and not that call, because that one's gone. So you just want to put some doubt in the official's mind. I always like to ask the official after a controversial call, were you sure? Were you absolutely sure? And sometimes they would give me the answer with just their expression, like, shut up and get back in the huddle, Fouts.
Right.
Jay Feely will kick it off. Richard Goodman deep for the Chargers. Feely in competition with Dan Carpenter, who had a field goal blocked in the first half. Nice high kick, and Goodman from 2 yards deep. And he's hit as he reaches the 20-yard line. The ball came loose, but looked like he got it back. Pretty good pop there on Goodman. Kevin Mintner with the big hit.
Just seems like he had all that space to build up speed and really didn't notice that massive humanity that was right in front of him.
In your football history, going all the way back to Plano, did you ever return a kickoff?
No, Dan, no.
You were one of the guys in the wedge, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a wedge guy, or a wedge buster.
Or a wedgie.
Or a wedgie.
8:14 to go here in the third quarter. Chargers on top by 7. Charlie Whitehurst is the quarterback. Fakes to Whitaker. He fires over the middle, and that ball to Dan DePalma is incomplete.
Dan's going, well, look, if you're reviewing everything, why did you review this? very close to being a catch.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Second down.
Look. I think the opponent got that.
Yeah, I'd throw that flag, Mike. The coaches upstairs should be telling him that is a catch. No red flag coming. Whitaker remains the tailback on 2nd and 10. That ball's complete. And that's Green down the sidelines. Ladarius Green, he's just tripped up as he gets to about the 20-yard line. Ladarius Green with his 8th catch of the preseason. This one good for 57 yards.
And he's been a star. Let me tell you, he started catching footballs, and just like that last route, as the Chargers get right up on the line.
Yeah, smart by the Chargers to get right up by the line. As Whitehurst throws a slant route, that ball's incomplete, thrown just a little bit too low. Robert Meacham not able to get down and make that grab. They would love to see Meacham make some grabs. Only one catch so far in the preseason. Chargers go back to the huddle. But after a long play like that, the defense is winded.
Oh, yeah. Jump up on that line.
Kind
Absolutely.
of looking at themselves like, what happened there? So you get right to the line of scrimmage. Here's Fozzie Whitaker. Whitaker spinning down to the 20-yard line. Whitaker at 5'10", 202 pounds, out of Texas. He'll pick up 3 yards there.
Like his style, and by the way, realizing as a linebacker that it makes him so much more difficult to tackle. You have a shorter guy, change direction, spin, great weapon.
3rd and 7. Blitz, great read. Whitaker at the 10, Whitaker at the 5, diving for the pylon, will go out of bounds. Good read by Whitehurst, saw the blitz and dumped it to his hot receiver, Whitaker. Fozzie takes it down to the 4-yard line.
And this is what happens when you don't peel off in coverage on a blitz. There's a running back that's wide open and moving the ball.
16 yards on that hot receiver concept. Shaughnessy with a tackle that time on Whitaker. He's going to lose a yard on that carry. It'll remain 2nd down. It'll remain goal to go for San Diego. Three receivers for Whitehurst as he goes under center. Whitaker right side, breaks a tackle, dives to the end zone.
That's a touchdown.
He's in. Touchdown, San Diego. Another great effort by a Charger running back to sniff that goal line and get in. And they will review this because all scoring plays are reviewed.
I don't remember seeing a play that has the quarterback leaving the center, countering, and then handing off on the backside that deep in the backfield. That's a new look for me.
That's a touchdown, too. He got the ball across the goal line before his knee hit the ground.
Right. Go, Foz.
His 2nd touchdown of the preseason. And that was well earned. Touchdown San Diego after the review. So Nick Novak will come on, looking to add the 21st point as the Chargers answer the Cardinal touchdown with one of their own. 6:10 to go, 3rd quarter. Chargers back on the board thanks to Fozzie Whitaker. Tonight's telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited. Andre Ellington is deep for the Cardinals, waiting this Nick Novak kickoff. Novak likes this kind of work. This is his 4th kickoff of the evening. Cardinals will have a new quarterback when they hit the field. Novak. The drive, Ellington deep in the end zone. He's coming out 10, 15, a little bit of a hole there, and he stumbles across the 15-yard line. And a late flag. This could be an illegal block as Drew Stanton makes his first appearance of the evening. And he'll be backed up deep in his own end of the field.
During the return, holding by the return team, number 83, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Arizona.
You know, after the Cardinals hired Bruce Arians as the head coach in January, one of the first players he signed was this guy, Drew Stanton. Because Stanton was with him last season in Indianapolis.
Correction, that penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
He was a second-round pick of the Detroit Lions back in '07. And he threw a touchdown pass on his first NFL attempt, becoming just the second Lions quarterback to ever accomplish that, along with Chuck Long. That's the 10th Arizona penalty here tonight. Stephon Taylor will get the carry.
He kind of fits that mold, Dan. He's one of those big guys. Under center, 6'3", 243. That's a sizable quarterback.
Give Taylor 4 yards on that carry. Cardinals with 3 wide receivers. Stanton throws a short pass over the middle. That ball is complete. Kerry Taylor looks like the receiver. Check it, that's Hawkins with the catch. And he's got enough for the first down. Nearing 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Chargers up by 14. See Stanton's numbers throughout the preseason. Fake to Taylor. Stanton under pressure, and he's got his tight end over the middle. D.C. Jefferson moving on up to the first down.
Brandon Taylor making sure that the receiver was down.
First catch of the preseason for Jefferson. He's a 7th-round pick. Rookie out of Rutgers. 13 yards on the game. First and 10. Bunch formation to the top of the screen. Taylor's got it, and that's where he runs, and he picks up about 5 yards. Brandon Taylor went low to take his feet out from underneath him. Taylor's showing that hitting ability, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I mean, as soon as you hit that field as a young player, you better start showing some kind of ability. You might not get another opportunity.
Taylor picks up 5. That'll bring up a 2nd and 5. Ball intercepted by Gatchkar. D.C. Jefferson couldn't make the grab after being hit there. Gatchkar right on the spot. You heard the Cardinals yelling out, "Look out for 59." Yeah. He came on the blitz and then bounced back to make this catch after the big hit.
DJ Smith just, I mean, this is the kind of hit you dream about when you're a young football player. Gatchkar comes down with the ball. The Chargers are in business.
Back at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, where the Chargers have just picked up their 2nd interception of the ball game. Charlie Whitehurst with great field position to start this drive. Ball placed at the 43 of Arizona. Edwin Rock Baker with a good carry over that left side. And he'll be close to a first down. In fact, they're going to give him 10 yards, and that should be good enough for a first down. And the guy that used to wear that number 20, Anton Kaysen, made the tackle, now wearing number 20 for Arizona.
Dan, just check the style out. It reminds me of Little Train James. I mean, he runs low to the ground, and he's low to the ground to begin with.
That pass intended for Michael Hill.
But reminds me of Lionel James, with just the style that he runs with.
Well, Edwin Baker, 5'8", 200 pounds. And of course, when you Get under 5'10", they're a little generous with those inches.
Right.
But I like the nickname, The Rock.
Rock.
Out of Michigan State, first-year player, free agent last year. And he's back at tailback for San Diego. 2nd down and 10. And The Rock's got it. And he'll try to slide across the middle, but we'll find just 1 yard for San Diego. Darrell Washington is there to meet him.
The Rock needs to make sure that when they call a play that he runs to the correct hole. If he had taken that outside off the guard's hip, might have had some clear sailing out there.
Michael Hill will replace him, and he'll stand to the left side of Charlie Whitehurst. Chargers 5 of 8 converting 3rd downs tonight. Whitehurst on this 3rd and 9, running for his life, throwing to the sidelines and out of bounds. Mike Wiley was in the area. Kenny Rowe, the rookie free agent out of Oregon, was putting the pressure on Whitehurst.
Showed some pretty good judgment there.
Yeah, there's a rule that says if you don't have the ball, they can't hit you. And now they've changed the rule that for a quarterback, even if you do have the ball, they can't hit you. Novak with a 50-yard field goal try. It's high, it's straight, and it's good. Nick Novak, who missed a 51-yarder earlier, redeems himself with a 50-yard field goal to give the Chargers their 24th point.
Nice job, Mr. Novak. And the offense gets the satisfaction of the payoff in points, even though it's only 3. It's still 24-7.
I know you're tuned in and you know what's going on with the Chargers and everything. When are we going to see this guy, Manti Te'o? You can see the boot on his right foot still. What do you think?
Well, I had a similar injury. My freshman year, sprained my foot, and quite frankly, had to walk around in a boot for a while. It took weeks. And now I'm pretty sure that Manti is much tougher than I am. But we'll see when he can take that boot off and give it a shot back on the field.
Yeah, just played 9 plays in the opener against Seattle before he injured that foot.
Yeah.
But it's nothing to mess around with. You consider all the contact that you linebackers have to put up with. That was a 5-play, 11-yard drive that took 1:17 off the clock, culminating in the 50-yard Nick Novak field goal. And Novak with another kickoff. Andre Ellington. Ellington finding his way across the 20, and a nice return across the 30. Give Ellington 35 yards on the return, and a bit of a bruise there. Josh Johnson with the stop.
And he had to hang with it for a while because I'm telling you, that returner was making a lot of cuts. Josh Johnson doing a nice job being patient and finally getting him down on the ground.
Yeah, on special teams, I mean, this is where guys are going to make the team or not. And that's what Mike McCoy talked to us about before the game. He wants to find out when the lights come on that Monday night against the Texans in a couple weeks, who's going to be brave enough to run under kicks and make tackles.
Exactly.
And who's not. 1st and 10 for Drew Stanton and the Cardinals. Ryan Williams with his first carry of the night. Williams was a 2nd-round pick in 2011. He's had knee problems, spleen problems, a shoulder last year. High draft pick. The Cardinals are hoping big things from. He got 5 on that carry.
Frank Beltry did a nice job from his outside position outside of the tight end, coming back in and making the tackle finally. But as you said, it was a gain of 5.
Stanton under pressure, ball knocked up in the air by Gatchcard. He couldn't locate it, or he would have walked into the end zone with a 2nd pick of the night. Oh, that's just unfortunate. Great athletic play by Gatchcard. He's been all around the ball in the 2nd half.
Young man from Missouri. I'm telling you, he's got some hops.
He's saying, show me.
Yes.
Show me where the ball is.
Exactly right.
He's playing that inside position that is also played by Bronk Bird and Manti Te'o. Good special teamer as well. 3rd and 5 for Stanton. standing in, and now he's going to go down. Thomas Kaiser with a sack. His first sack as a Charger. 12 yards on the loss for Kaiser, who came over from Carolina in free agency.
And really an effort sack. I mean, he just kept after it, just kept driving his man down and back to the quarterback until he could finally reach out, grab that rascal, and throw him on the ground.
Back deep for San Diego is Luke Tasker, the son of Steve Tasker, the great Pro Bowl kick returner, special teamer for the Buffalo Bills. See what his son Luke can do as he takes it at 15-yard line. And he cannot break the tackle there. Brian McCann with the sure tackle on Luke Tasker. 57-yard punt by Zastado, and the Chargers have a new quarterback and a guy that's been pretty impressive here in the preseason, Brad Sorensen.
Now, Dan, I just like the guy's height. I mean, his size, we got a 6 foot, 230-pound quarterback back there. He's going to be solid for you. He's going to be able to put up with a lot of the offsides penalties that
Stephen Schilling.
Ball start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
A little over anxious for the Michigander. Schilling in his second year. That's just the third penalty against San Diego, and Mike McCoy's got to be happy about the discipline the Chargers have shown so far as we're coming down to the end of the third quarter. There's a handoff to Baker, and Baker crosses the 15-yard line. Edwin Baker out of Michigan State, tackled by Darrell Washington.
I mean, check at the arm. That's why they call him the Rock. The arms on this kid.
Now those arms got him all of 1 yard.
Yes, exactly right. But think if he wouldn't have had those arms.
Here's Sorensen standing in the pocket. He drills it to Meacham, and Meacham makes the catch out to the 24-yard line, and isn't that a good sight to see?
Well, I'm telling you, that was synchronized. That was a very nice job with the quarterback and the receiver. The ball was exactly where it was supposed to be. Nice job.
I asked Ken Wisenhunt about Sorensen, and they've been impressed with him. They feel that with his size and ability and his coolness,
That's the end of the third quarter.
he's got a future somewhere, if not here in San Diego. Into the third quarter, Chargers 24, Arizona 7. Back for the start of the fourth quarter, San Diego on top by 17. University of Phoenix Stadium, 7 years old, has already hosted a Super Bowl and a national title game. A lot of Charger fans made the trip over from San Diego. Get out of that cool weather and get into some heat. Here's Sorensen out of the shotgun. And he's got Meacham again. Meacham's got the catch, and he's going to be close to a first down. In fact, he's got enough for the first down. Back-to-back catches for Robert Meacham. Jamal Fleming with the stop.
Good-looking play. I mean, the connection between the quarterback and the receiver couldn't be any better than that. That is how you run a NFL pass play.
Well, with Ajir Tutu out with a hip pointer, it's very important that somebody steps up, and right now it is Robert Meacham as Baker with a couple of stiff arms with those big arms of his will get a couple. He averted being thrown for a loss because of those guns.
Yeah, I thought he was going to make the corner and maybe turn that into a 5-10 yard gain.
Anton Kaysen with the stop there after a 2-yard gain. Kaysen in a battle for the starting cornerback spot with Gerard Powers. Powers had his problems in that first half with a couple of pass interference calls against him. 2nd and 8. Here's Baker, left side. He lowers his head and keeps his legs driving out to the 40-yard line. You like that, huh?
I did. That was just a little late contact. And the contact that I'm speaking of was the defender's back contacting the ground as the offensive lineman buried him. That was pretty nice.
That was Mike Harris.
Yes, it was.
Second-year player, the free agent out of UCLA. He played both sides of that offensive line. Started last year at left tackle, is now playing over at right tackle. Baker still is the tailback for Brad Sorensen on 3rd down and 4. In motion is Dallas Walker. Sorensen fires and he finds his man. And again, it's Meacham, and Meacham is running inside the 30, breaks the tackle. We got a flag down. Flag is down along the, he may have gone out of bounds. The official has dropped his hat, and Meacham came back onto the field. That may be the call, so this will be negated. Can't be the first guy back on the field to touch the ball after going out of bounds.
The offense was out of bounds, reestablished, and was the first to touch the pass. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
But a couple of things before the penalty was the job that Sorensen does buying time, and then
no doubt.
Top of the screen, watch Meacham. He's forced out of bounds there, comes back in. Right. That's a good call by the officials.
Well, he kind of stops waiting for a whistle or something. Did you see that? I mean, as soon as he came back in bounds, Meacham said, yeah, okay, if you're not going to blow a whistle, I'll go.
That was a similar play that Sorensen ran in the first game against Seattle when he faded to the left side of the pocket and found Ladarius Green for the touchdown. He's a cool character. Doesn't seem to be fazed by the size of this game. Picked in the 7th round out of Southern Utah.
Well, that's got to be it. The experience at Southern Utah.
And you know he's got a lot of fans here from Southern Utah, not too far from Phoenix. Michael Hill will be the tailback. Good protection, and that ball almost intercepted. Now they're going to call pass interference, and this pass interference may go against the Chargers' Dion Butler. This was going to be an interception for the Cardinals.
Pass interference. Offense, number 3. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
Yeah, you know, it's a good play by Butler because that ball was clearly going to be intercepted by the Cardinals if he doesn't grab the defensive back.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about right there.
Yeah, Jamel Fleming had himself a pick there, but heads up play there by Butler. The Butler did it. Richard Kent is in. Kent, who's had a very solid preseason, averaging nearly 50 yards a punt. And he drives this ball to Mike Thomas, newly acquired Mike Thomas out of the University of Arizona. And he'll get out to the 25-yard line. 12:36 to go in the ball game. Chargers on top, 24-7. Real attractive home schedule for San Diego this season. The bright lights on Monday, September 9th. We'll see Arian Foster, the Mission Bay High School product. How about Tony Romo coming next? Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Andy Dalton, Eli Manning, and then, of course, the Raiders and the Chiefs. That is an attractive home schedule.
And all you mentioned were quarterbacks. You never even threw a linebacker.
Arian Foster. I knew you were going to say that. That's why I started with Arian Foster.
All right.
But, you know, quarterbacks are the show.
You know they are.
Here's Stanton. He's a quarterback, and he's got a completion out here at the 30-yard line.
Whoa. Kerry Taylor on the catch, and man, he made it exciting.
Well, Kerry Taylor, you talk about perseverance. He's in his first year out of Arizona State. 2 years ago, he was with the Packers, the Patriots, the 49ers, and the Vikings. Last year, the Patriots and the Cardinals, trying to make the team, and he can do it with catches like that.
Wow.
Here's Stanton. And he's got Jefferson at the 35-yard line, and that should be just about enough for a first down. Brandon Taylor with the stop. Those two are getting to know each other a little bit.
Yes, they are. Big tight end, too. Brandon doing a nice job wrestling him down to the ground.
And 6'6", 255. So it is a first down at the 35-yard line. A lot of second and third teamers in now there for both sides. There's a handoff up the middle. Andre Ellington is returning kicks for Arizona tonight. Gets his first carry. They'll be cutting down the squads. 19 players will no longer be on the Chargers come Tuesday as they cut the squad to 75.
And you start to feel the desperation in the way that these guys are playing because they realize that their clock is running short.
Second and 7. And Stanton will go down again. That could be the second sack of the night for Thomas Kaiser.
Big old TK. That was some very nice effort. Kind of flashed in the hole, and he was right there before the quarterback knew what to do. 64 just basically gave up on it. It was a nice way, nice sticking with it and following it through, getting the quarterback on his back.
Big loss on the play, brings up a 3rd and 16. Chargers rushing 4, and Stanton drew them off sides. So a free 5 yards, and Stanton got drilled. Stanton got hit by Demik Scafé. He really took a shot.
You're going to make me jump off sides? I'm going to come after you. You're going to have to pay for that. Oh.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Curious win offsides, but Scaife got his money's worth there. That's why quarterbacks wear rib pads. He dropped his head right into the ribs. A legal hit, good clean hit by Scafé. Punish Drew Stanton. 3rd and 11 now. Deep drop. He's got a wide open receiver to the outside, and that's DC Jefferson. Jefferson going to come up about a yard shy of the first down.
DC had the room to get the first down, didn't he? I mean, do you feel like if he had just turned up and taken it down the field, he might have been able to get that first down?
Well, especially with his size, 6'6", 255.
Yeah.
Working against a defensive back, Josh Johnson, who goes 199. Drew Stanton was looking for the sidelines because of that big hit. Arian says, you stay out there. We're going to run one more play on this 4th down. See if we can get the first down. And now we got San Diego calling timeout. So we'll take it as well. Mike McCoy did not like the personnel he had on the field. 4th and 1 when we come back. Chargers used their first timeout of the second half. Remember, they challenged a play on that reception and fumble. They challenged whether it was a fumble or not. They were correct that it was a fumble, so they were not charged a timeout. Did not get possession of the ball because it was ruled that the Cardinal receiver was first to get the recovery. So McCoy on 4th and 1 uses their first timeout. And we'll see what Drew Stanton has in mind with Andre Ellington, the sole running back. And he gets it. He's got the first down with ease. Running over the right tackle all the way to Logan Harrell, 6 yards for Ellington. I was kind of hoping that we get to see Ryan Lindley at some point tonight for the Cardinals, the Alpine, California native. He led the El Capitan High School Vaqueros to 11-1 record back in 06. Had a great career on the Mesa for San Diego State. 1st and 10 at midfield. Stanton under pressure. Oh, Stanton goes down. Oh my.
Wow.
Oh, is he going to get a ribbing for that and give a sack? The 3rd sack of the night for that man, Thomas Kaiser. That is no Fran Tarkenton there. 22 yards on the loss.
Drew,
Analyze that.
Yeah, this is going to live forever in the highlight reel for Drew Stanton. Oh my goodness, that is something else.
The only reason I can laugh is I can envision myself. I probably did that too. Holy cow. So that'll bring up a second down and 32. Pass complete over the middle to Ellington, as Ellington is a busy guy here in the fourth quarter. 7 yards on the pickup.
Dan Malls on the tackle.
4 sacks tonight for San Diego, 3 by Thomas Kaiser. And those 4 sacks have resulted in a loss of 50 yards for the Cardinals. Third and a bunch. Again to Ellington over the middle. And the Chargers converge and stop him well short of the first down. And that'll bring up another punt for the Arizona Cardinals.
I can only imagine how thrilling it's been for Mr. Kaiser having the kind of evening that he's having right now, especially considering the timing at which it all happens for him. It's unbelievable.
Luke Tasker is back deep for San Diego. Zastudil sends a left-footed kick all the way back to the 6-yard line. Tasker takes a huge hit. Wow. Reggie Walker with the big hit on Luke Tasker. University of Phoenix Stadium kind of looks like something out of E.T. Chargers have a new quarterback as they continue to dominate the Arizona Cardinals. Nathan Enderle,
and you know,
second-year player out of Idaho.
He fits that very same body type, Dan. I can tell you this: he's 6'4", 240 pounds, and from the great state of Idaho.
Problem with the exchange there. Not how you want to start your evening. David Moak, the center, and Enderle not connecting on that first snap. No gain on that play. Edwin Baker, and he'll get it left side. Breaks the tackle. Good speed to the outside. Again, tough to bring down. Strong upper body, thick legs, good quickness. Bethel with the stop.
And David Carter, Dan, from UCLA, 300-pounder, number 79. He had a shot at him, but just couldn't get him down.
Some interesting decisions for the Chargers. How many running backs they keep, keeping in mind the injury problems of Ryan Matthews in his short career. Chargers tonight have rushed for 120 yards on 31 carries. That's a healthy average. Here's Enderle. He's got his completion to his tight end. Right over the middle, that goes Ben Cotton. Just a little bit short of the first down, and that'll bring out the punt team. Ben Cotton,
rookie out of Nebraska. How you doing, Ben? No, don't start congratulating the other guys on the other team.
It's Darrell Washington. Richard Kent with his second punt. Just the third punt of the evening for San Diego. Mike Thomas again deep for Arizona. Makes a catch at the 30-yard line. He's looking for a block, and he got it. Across the 35, and a solid tackle there. Good tackle there by Frank Beltre. Or Mike Thomas had ideas on a long return. We got a new quarterback, Ryan Lindley from San Diego State. Just under 5 minutes to go in the ball game, and a chance to check out Ryan Lindley. When you think of the great quarterbacks that have played at San Diego State, and you think that Lindley thrown more touchdown passes than all the great ones. 90 career touchdown passes for the Aztecs. Trying to make a ball club. Played 6 games last year for the Cardinals. Ryan Williams will be the tailback, and he'll get the ball in the draw play. Right side. And he'll get a nice 5-yard gain on first down.
Saw Frank Beltre, the playing defensive end, hand down in the grass, and then taking the open invitation from that offensive tackle to come inside and go after the quarterback. That's exactly what the running back was looking at. Broke off of that move and turned it into a couple of yards. Cardinals
trying to go to the hurry-up offense, but their tight end, D.C. Jefferson, came down with appears to be a cramp problem. Everybody was at the line of scrimmage, but Jefferson was sitting down. And the medical staff will come out and take a look at him. 4:34 to go. San Diego in control of this one, 24-7. And BR, you talk about the 3 phases of the game, and really the special teams were so glaring in the first 2 games, and tonight they have been the difference.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Not just the special teams, but what special teams do to your field position and how that was affected. They did a fantastic job of that tonight, and I think that whoever was it that made the talk in front of the team, I'm guessing the special teams coach, I think they got on. I think they understand now what they want out of special teams and the kind of effect that it could have on the game.
Well, Darryl Stuckey blocked the first punt of the game. Kwame Geathers blocked a field goal. And we've had some nice returns as well tonight. Defensively for San Diego, they've gotten after the quarterback, 4 sacks, 3 of them by Thomas Kaiser.
I think offensively, I mean, I got to tell you, it just seemed like the Chargers controlled the tempo so much more than what the Cardinals could. And I think that really led to them enjoying this lead now that we see them enjoying.
Lindley catches a high snap, gets away, and he finds Ryan Williams for a nice gain out to midfield, but Chargers will give that up all day long. Clock continues to run. Cardinals have 3 timeouts, trailing by 17. Chargers will rush 4, drop 7. Lindley looking left. He's got a receiver on the sidelines. Charles Hawkins with the catch. First down for Lindley and the Cardinals. And out of bounds goes Hawkins. Another high snap. Lindley to the right side, and that ball being complete. Like a miscommunication there that time by Walker.
I think you're right. Because that football had a lot of open space when it bounced.
Three and a half to go. Ball at the 40-yard line of San Diego. Chilling on the sidelines. Lindley brings Walker in motion. Looking for Walker. Penalty flag down. And Walker's got the catch and out of bounds, just short of the first down.
You got a pick over there?
I think so. The way this flag came out and the ball came at the same time, looked like Arizona's going to be called.
Illegal formation. Offense. The tackle was not covered. That's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
But one of the wide receivers not lining up on the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Not a pick.
You've got to cover up that offensive tackle.
Yeah, why are you wearing a stocking cap indoors when it's 75 degrees in here and 95 outside? 11th penalty of the night against Arizona. Lindley's got another completion, this time to his tight end. Alex Gottlieb, his first catch of the preseason, good for 10 yards. There's your linebacker there.
I know.
Donald Butler.
I never had the chance to tell him, don't ever wear a toboggan type cap on the sideline unless there's a lot of snow.
He's cool.
That is cool. I want one of those.
Charles Hawkins, the intended receiver. Chargers will get ready for a ball game in a hurry just 5 days from now, Thursday night against the 49ers at the Q. Get a chance to see the defending NFC champs. Lindley over the middle, and that ball knocked away. Fine defensive play. And Marcus Gilchrist appeared. It's catching on.
It really is. Pretty soon they're going to be 3 people.
And no, I did not pay that young man to wear that number 14 jersey, but I might. That says it all. Chargers take the ball over on downs. And they will do their best to run this clock out as we've got 2:57 to go. Enderle hands the ball in the backfield. Michael Hill gets smacked as he got to the line of scrimmage. He will lose a yard. I think Mike McCoy's got to be happy with his team effort tonight. The Cardinals call a timeout here. For what reason, I have no idea. Just get more plays, perhaps.
Right.
Evaluate personnel.
Arizona.
It's all about evaluation, Dan.
Please set the game clock to 2 minutes 46 seconds, please. 2:46. This is a 30-second timeout.
First half of this Chargers regular season looks like this. Talked about the Texans. A chance to see Chip Kelly back in Philadelphia as we see just how effective his offense can be run by Michael Vick. And I'll be in Tennessee with my CBS crew. Ian Eagle and I will do that ball game, third game of the season for San Diego. Good hard running that time by Michael Hill.
Going, my goodness.
Like a rugby scrum.
Right.
Picked up 8 or 9 yards.
Second charge timeout, Arizona. This is a 30-second timeout.
After that, it's the Dallas Cowboys. I'm looking forward to that date.
And they go up to Oakland. It'll be interesting to see if Oakland can get their act together. Still haven't named a starting quarterback. And speaking of quarterbacks, Andrew Luck, who set a NFL rookie record for passing yardage last year with the Indianapolis Colts when he was coached by Bruce Arians, comes to the Q. What a brilliant young talent he is.
Remember playing against his daddy, Dan?
Is that right? Oliver?
That's right.
Michael Hill gets punished as he gets to the line of scrimmage, just short of the first down. Bruce Arians does not elect to use a timeout. He'll let this clock run down to the 2-minute warning.
All right.
So will Nathan Enderle. This is a good showing by the San Diego Chargers as we have reached
This is a 2-minute
warning.
2 minutes.
Chargers 24, Arizona 7. Two minutes left to go in the ball game. And tennis tonight, 59,773, and it's safe to say that there is 9,773 left. And if you got a stocking cap, you're going to get on TV tonight. Chargers will go to the victory formation. Cardinals can only stop the clock one more time.
This is good. I like the fact that they're able to run the victory formation.
Well, in this whole performance tonight against a team that had been playing very well, shutting out the Green Bay Packers, allowing just 7 points to the Dallas Cowboys, and really getting after people.
They're handing them their first loss.
They're in a tough division too this year, the Cardinals, with the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks, and the Rams are much improved. Andrew Lee will genuflect. It's my altar boy days. 1 minute to go. First win for Mike McCoy. Eric Weddle sporting the beard. Good job. Good look.
I think he probably enjoys it more than anybody else.
Eric Johnson with the goat. And that one there will be the final play of this ball game. And I want to thank our crew tonight: Jason Bott, our producer; Tom Saturci, our director. Upstairs here, Kurt Gritz spotting for me; Glenn Capoletto keeping the numbers; and Leo Williams keeping us all straight, our stage manager. Congratulations all the way around. Phillip Rivers solid tonight, starting this San Diego offense, especially with the up-tempo, no-huddle offense that was so effective on that 92-yard drive. Well, for those of you watching on the Chargers Network, you'll be leaving us now to return to your local stations. Those of you on CBS 8 in San Diego, our post-game coverage is just ahead. Once again, our final score: San Diego 24, Arizona 7.